Today I'll provide 2 ways of making vegan chocolate mousse. Yes, this video is about vegan again, but I think non-vegans would like to try the recipe too. After all, it's chocolate mousse, isn't it? First off, let's make the mousse by using something trendy among vegans, tofu. I tried these 2 kinds and they both work. One is silk tofu and the other is lactose tofu. Feel free to try other brands. Just remember to use soft tofu, and the less soy flavored, the better. Also choose the ones that are made for instant consumption. That way you don't need to take the time to sterilize the tofu. For this recipe, I prefer to use the silk tofu as I need exactly 350 grams. It's natural to have some whey outflowing when you open the package, so just drain it a bit in the sink. After that, use a knife to make some process. Transfer the cube of tofu into a bowl. If your tofu is right out of the refrigerator like mine, microwave it to lukewarmish. I use 65% dark chocolate. That way, no extra sugar is needed. To strengthen the chocolate flavor, use 4 teaspoons or 15 grams of pure cocoa powder. I wouldn't suggest skipping it. Also, I highly recommend using some flavoring alcohol. I never skip Kahlua in this recipe as the coffee flavor boosts the chocolate taste, but I always combine it with others like rum, homemade limoncello, or the Irish cream liquor. Jägermeister is a bit unusual, and I haven't tried it before, but I just wanted to show you some ideas. Feel free to experiment with whatever you like. You may also try a combination of vanilla paste and Kahlua, or even go wild with rose water. But again, I haven't tried this, so the result's not guaranteed. Now let's get down to business. First, melt the chocolate. You can use the double boiler, but I prefer to use a microwave as it's simpler. Just heat it on medium for a couple of minutes. But do remember to stir every 20 to 30 seconds. The chocolate will burn at around 54 degrees Celsius or 130 degrees Fahrenheit. So frequent stirring will even the temperature and prevent the chocolate from overheating. You may put a melted chocolate in the microwave to keep warm before using. The rest is super easy. In a food processor or blender, add the tofu along with the cocoa powder. Pulse a few times to prevent the powder from flying. Then leave it on to blend for 20 to 30 seconds. Open the lid, use a rubber spatula to scrape the side, then process for another 20 to 30 seconds. Now add alcohol while the machine is running. For this one, I choose to add 1 tablespoon of Kahlua plus 2 tablespoons of rum. I only have golden rum at home, but feel free to use dark rum. Open the lid and scrape the side. Then turn the machine on, slowly pour in the melted chocolate. Let it run for another 10 seconds or so. Open the lid to see if everything is fully mixed. The mixture should be very smooth, with no powder or solid detectable. Also, because it has mixed in a lot of air, it should be quite airy. Transfer the mousse to serving bowls. Tap the bowl with your hands to get rid of big air bubbles. Then chill in the refrigerator for at least 4 hours or overnight. This recipe makes about 2 cups. I shared a video of how to make soy milk yogurt, so the second way of making mousse is to use this plant yogurt. This batch is fermented in the proofing machine at 43 degrees for 8 hours. Made this way, the yogurt tastes not as sour or strong soy flavored as a room temperature one. Weigh 350 grams. As said, soy milk yogurt isn't smooth by nature. Even if passed through a fine sieve, you can still clearly see the curdled grains, so it's best to use a food processor or blender as well. The process is all the same as using tofu, which is first to blend lukewarm yogurt and the cocoa powder together, then add flavoring alcohol. This time, I choose to use a combination of Kahlua and limoncello. Slowly pour in the melted chocolate while the machine is running, and it's done. Compared with the previous tofu version, although the amount of ingredients is all the same, this batch feels a little runnier and somehow airier. Note that the yogurt contains less water content than the tofu used in the previous version. You thought this batch would be denser, but the result is the opposite. Anyway, transfer to the containers and chill them in a refrigerator. The next day, let's compare these 2 versions. On the right is the tofu version, and on the left is the soy milk yogurt version. Judging by the look, the tofu version feels denser, and the color of the yogurt version seems a touch lighter. But I don't want to be delusional, so let's have a taste. For the yogurt version, it's easy to insert a spoon, and the scoop looks just like regular dairy mousse. It tastes light and very smooth. Good flavor with a little tanginess in the background. For the tofu version, it feels denser and the scoop has a clear edge. But don't take me wrong, it tastes good too, just with a different profile. It tastes richer and has no tanginess with a touch of soy flavor, which somehow will disappear after a few bites. Note that depending on the type and brand of tofu, soy flavor may vary. That's why I think for the tofu version, the additive flavoring is important because it can cover up the soy taste. In a nutshell, the yogurt version tends to be more like regular mousse and the tofu version more like custard. Both taste very chocolatey, which also helps cover up the original soy flavor. I like both, and it's hard for me to pick favorite. Another difference, if you can't finish the mousse at once, the next day you will see weight separation. More for the yogurt version, but only a tiny bit for the tofu version. Here are some tips. For the tofu version, I wouldn't change the amount, as less tofu will be too dense and more will be too tofu, if you know what I mean. But for the yogurt version, it's flexible. If you prefer it to be denser and richer, reduce the yogurt to minimum 300 grams. That'll achieve a similar texture as the tofu version, and there won't be as much weight separation the next day. But if you prefer it to be even lighter and airier, increase it to no more than 400 grams. Just don't be surprised to see more liquid the next day. This is how I would pair the flavorings. I like using a combination of citrus fruit like raspberry and blueberry. Fig is optional. Add some chocolate chips to add texture. Squeeze some diluted orange jam. And lastly, sift a little cocoa powder on the top. If you have health concerns or are simply vegan, you may want to try these two low-fat vegan chocolate mousse. They're also ideal for Valentine's too. Again, I hope you liked this video. See you next time.